Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah, you'll have a rude awakening.
We've hit a moment where the line between revenge and justice isn't just blurry, it's been smashed to pieces. And the guy swinging that hammer is none other than Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who just dropped a 4-part Netflix bomb called Sean Combs: The Reckoning. This isn't being framed as just another documentary. Insiders are calling it a cold, calculated takedown, built to shred a reputation piece by piece. What makes this hit so wild is the material behind it. The project is armed with alleged private meltdown recordings from Diddy himself, taped just 6 days before his arrest. This isn't guesswork or rumors. This is real footage of a man coming apart in real time, huddled with his legal team, scrambling for help and reaching out to people known for handling the darkest, messiest situations, all while his empire starts collapsing around him. And here's the twist that cuts the deepest. According to reports, he recorded every second himself. We're talking about a man who spent decades crafting an image of untouchable power. Champagne moments, private jets, elite entourages, only for his obsession with documenting his own life to flip the script and box him in when everything went sideways. The tapes secured by the Reckoning production team and legally verified according to Netflix show Combs holed up in a Harlem hotel room, frantic and disheveled, snapping orders into his phone while his legal team rushes to contain a tidal wave of accusations. At one point, he breaks and snaps, "We are losing." His voice cracks, exposing a rare flash of vulnerability that almost never slips through. Then comes the line that stops everything cold. "Somebody that'll work with us that is dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business of the media and propaganda." That's not a rumor, that's a stunning admission. It shows Combs knew the public fight was already cooked before the first gavel ever came down. And now, with 50 Cent involved, that footage isn't just evidence anymore. It's the centerpiece of a primetime spectacle. But let's be clear, this isn't just about a mogul panicking at the edge of collapse. This is about a 2-decade feud finally going full blast. The tension between 50 and Diddy has always been personal, but this time the stakes are sky high. Sources close to the production say Jackson didn't stumble onto these tapes by luck. He paid for them, tapping connections deep inside Combs' inner circle. The irony cuts deep. Diddy had allegedly planned to flip these recordings into his own tell-all project. He'd been filming his life since he was 19, stacking hours of behind-the-scenes moments, thinking he could always control the story, until that plan turned on him. Instead, 50 Cent beat him to the punch. He flipped that same personal archive into a straight-up weapon, and the timing couldn't be more savage. Combs is currently serving a 50-month sentence in a low-security facility in New Jersey, with legal appeals still hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, dozens of accusers continue filing lawsuits, alleging patterns of coercive behavior and long-term exploitation, stacking pressure from every direction. And now the story gets even messier. While Netflix keeps saying this is not a hit piece, Combs' legal team is saying the exact opposite. They've fired off cease and desist letters, accusing the streamer of using stolen material and crossing serious legal lines. Their claim is that the footage, including private conversations involving Combs' attorneys, was never meant to be public and was allegedly obtained through questionable channels.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton.
Netflix isn't backing down, though. Director Alexandria Stapleton has publicly stated that the footage was acquired legally and that the production took steps to protect the identities of its sources. It's a hard line, and neither side looks ready to blink anytime soon. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just about legal paperwork and fine print. It's about optics, and the optics are brutal. The documentary doesn't just revisit allegations. It paints them as part of a long-running pattern, a lifestyle built around power plays, control, and a belief that the rules didn't apply to him. And don't ignore the family angle either. While Combs' twins and other relatives have publicly stood by him, showing up to court in what insiders called a display of unity, the documentary has reportedly sent shockwaves straight through his inner circle. Behind the scenes, the mood is anything but calm. There are whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that his children were visibly shaken after seeing early cuts of the film, especially the segments showing his pre-arrest meltdowns. These are the same kids who, just months ago, delivered emotional statements to the judge asking for leniency, painting a very different picture of the man they knew. Now they're reportedly forced to wrestle with two versions of their father. One they defended in court, and another presented in The Reckoning. A man who, according to the footage, seemed more focused on controlling the narrative than facing the consequences head-on. And don't overlook the timing of this drop. It lands right as Combs' legal team prepares an appeal, right as new civil lawsuits keep surfacing, and right as public obsession with his downfall hits a boiling point. Every move feels calculated, every release perfectly placed. But here's the question that refuses to go away. Is 50 Cent really doing this for the victims like he claims, or is this the final strike in a long-running personal war? The two have never hidden their dislike for each other, and this documentary has reignited serious debate about motive. Jackson has said that staying silent would make it look like hip-hop condoned Combs' alleged behavior, yet skeptics remain loud and unconvinced. Critics point to a long trail of bad blood that didn't start yesterday. From Diddy's infamous shopping spree comment at Chris Lighty's wedding, something 50 Cent later described as a thinly veiled proposition, to revelations that Combs was allegedly involved with 50's former partner, Daphne Joy. Reports claim he even paid her a monthly stipend tied to his notorious private gatherings, adding gasoline to an already raging fire. Then there's the leaked audio that turned heads everywhere. In it, Combs is allegedly heard berating Joy for ignoring him, warning that her payments would be cut if she didn't get back to work. The implications are heavy, and when you line that up with the timing of this documentary, dropping while Combs is locked up and unable to respond in real time, it all feels sharply calculated. At the same time, the legal fallout keeps snowballing. Combs' team has hinted at taking further action against Netflix, arguing that the use of private recordings, especially conversations involving his attorneys, crosses into attorney-client privilege territory. Netflix isn't blinking, though, framing the series as a necessary reckoning meant to expose what they call a decades-long pattern backed by evidence. And it doesn't stop with the tapes. The series reportedly digs into everything from long-circulating claims tied to the 1996 Shakur homicide, where former associate Keffy D has alleged Combs offered $1 million bounty, to testimonies from women like Joy Dickerson-Neal, who has alleged she was exploited and recorded without consent in the early 1990s. Each piece adds another layer to a story that just keeps getting darker. Then there's the money angle, and it's raising serious eyebrows. Insiders claim Combs was moving millions overseas in the days leading up to his arrest, a detail that, if proven, could resurface in ongoing RICO-related investigations. That alone is heavy, but the most chilling part of The Reckoning isn't even what it shows, it's what it strongly suggests is still buried. Because Combs was recording everything, so the real question becomes, what else is out there? The documentary hints at a massive vault of unreleased material, from his infamous private gatherings to behind-the-scenes interactions with other high-profile figures who've since gone silent and created distance. And with 50 Cent now positioned as the architect behind this takedown, it's no longer just about what's being revealed, it's about what's being deliberately held back. Because if this is truly a reckoning, it's nowhere near finished. The first domino has already tipped. The tapes are public, the legal fights are heating up, and somewhere inside a prison cell, Sean Combs is reportedly watching his legacy crack in real time, one explosive frame after another. Now pull the curtain back even further. Sources familiar with both camps say 50 Cent's documentary feels less like entertainment and more like a surgical strike. They insist this isn't only about exposing the truth, it's about settling a score that's deeply personal and carefully calculated. The meltdown tapes don't just look damaging. Critics say they carry 50's fingerprints all over them. This series doesn't simply air Diddy's dirty laundry. It puts it under a spotlight that refuses to shut off. It weaponizes his own voice, his own panic, flipping private moments of desperation into public ammunition. And the timing? Impeccable. Combs is locked away, his legal team scrambling, his family stuck playing damage control, while 50 Cent sits back and lets the footage speak loud and clear. But here's the twist insiders keep stressing. The most damaging part isn't even the tapes by themselves. It's the pattern they expose, a pattern of alleged payoffs, frantic calls to fixers, and a man who spent years controlling the narrative, now forced to watch his own words tear that image apart. The core of the controversy lives inside those pre-arrest recordings. In them, Combs is heard strategizing with his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, about how to push back against the growing wave of accusations. His tone swings between confidence and desperation as he says, "We have to find somebody that'll work with us. It has to be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business." The urgency is impossible to ignore. Netflix continues to stand firm on the legality of the footage. Combs' legal team, however, calls it stolen, labeling it a massive invasion of privacy so extreme they're openly threatening legal action. The battle lines are drawn, and neither side looks ready to step back. Yet the question refuses to go away. If these tapes were originally meant for Combs' own documentary, why didn't he lock them down? Was it pure arrogance, believing no one would ever dare turn them against him? Or was it something darker, a belief that his influence still ran deep enough to bury anything truly damaging? Either way, the irony is ruthless. The man who built an empire on image control now has his most exposed moments streaming on Netflix, with 50 Cent sitting in the executive producer chair, pulling the strings. This isn't just about embarrassment, it's about power, and who gets to wield it when everything falls apart. And then there's the money trail, which only adds more tension. Rumors keep circulating that Combs was shifting assets overseas in the days leading up to his arrest. The documentary hints at this, but stops short of laying it all out. If proven, those moves could connect to the wider RICO investigation that once threatened to take him down entirely. Remember, Combs was acquitted of racketeering charges, but prosecutors painted him as a kingpin-style figure.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea.
Surrounded by loyalists who allegedly helped maintain his lifestyle and shield him from consequences. The series reportedly dives into these financial maneuvers, suggesting the tapes might only scratch the surface. One former associate, speaking anonymously, claims Combs had a network of people ready to handle problems, whether that meant shutting down accusers or quietly greasing palms. If true, it paints a picture far bigger than a single documentary. And if the FBI is still digging like some insiders claim, those tapes could be the domino that kicks off another wave of indictments. One leak, one recording, and the whole situation could explode all over again, but the family angle is where things turn into emotional warfare. Combs' twins have been his most visible defenders, standing by him in court, delivering heartfelt statements, and even breaking down when the verdict was read. It's a powerful image, kids rallying around their father at his lowest point. Critics, though, see it differently. They argue it also looks like a carefully staged PR move, one that starts falling apart under the weight of the accusations. Online, the contrast is impossible to ignore. On one side, there's Diddy, the devoted dad. On the other, there's Diddy, the man allegedly caught on tape berating a former partner, the man accused of exploiting women over decades. The documentary leans straight into that contradiction. It shows family moments to humanize him, then cuts sharply to testimonies that tell a completely different story. That editing choice feels deliberate, forcing viewers to wrestle with the same question jurors faced. How do you square the man sitting quietly in a courtroom with the man in a hotel room pleading on tape for a way out? The tension hangs heavy, and the answer isn't easy. And if all that wasn't enough, here comes another twist. The baby mama drama isn't background noise, it's front and center. 50 Cent's team allegedly leaned hard into the revelations around Daphne Joy, not just because of her history with Combs, but because of what it represents. A man who, according to multiple accounts, blurred the line between business and personal life, treating relationships like transactions. Joy's alleged ties to Combs' private gatherings, the reported monthly payments, and the leaked audio of Combs losing his temper all feed into the documentary's main argument. This wasn't just about private encounters. It was about control, influence, and leverage. And when 50's other ex, Shaniqua Tompkins, publicly dragged Joy's past into the spotlight, calling her a pole performer from Las Vegas, it wasn't just messy drama. It was a reminder that Combs' world was built on secrets, and those secrets always came with a price. Now the fallout is spreading fast. Misa Hilton Brim, Combs' ex and the mother of his eldest son, has reportedly been approached about her own tell-all project. Sources say it would be directed by the same filmmaker behind The Reckoning. Texts obtained by media outlets allegedly show Hilton Brim, who appears eager to frame the story around Combs' influence on hip-hop and the bad boy legacy, while peeling back what was happening behind the scenes. The storm keeps growing, and more voices may be lining up. The story is far from finished. Misa Hilton Brim's potential involvement could open a whole new front in this ongoing war, especially given her long and complicated history with Combs. Her appearance at the trial, arriving with a walker, was seen by many as a silent but powerful statement that spoke louder than words. At the same time, other former associates are reportedly debating whether to step forward. Some are drawn by the spotlight, others by the promise of a paycheck. But the pressure is real. In this climate, staying quiet isn't just seen as loyalty. It's starting to look like a liability. Then there's the Shakur angle, and it lands like a bomb. The documentary doesn't just briefly mention it, it lingers on former gang associate Keffi D's long-standing claim that Combs offered a $1 million bounty connected to Shakur's killing. The allegation itself isn't new, but placed alongside the tapes, it suddenly feels heavier and harder to dismiss. The series frames this claim as part of a broader pattern, a man who allegedly played both sides, using money, influence, and connections to shape outcomes only to end up trapped by his own actions. Combs has always denied any involvement in Shakur's death, but the filmmakers highlight Keffi D's proffer agreement with law enforcement as a sign they believe there's still more beneath the surface. And if ongoing interest from law enforcement into Combs' past ties and West Coast tensions uncovers anything new, this story could shift fast. What started as a scandal may turn into a full-scale reckoning that no one can control. But maybe the most chilling detail of all is how Combs' own obsession with recording everything turned into his downfall. The documentary reportedly includes footage of him filming himself in mirrors, ranting about his accusers, even cracking jokes about the legal storm closing in around him. It's like he couldn't stop documenting his own collapse, staring straight into it and hitting record anyway. Now that same footage is being used to frame him as a man who truly believed he was untouchable, right up until the moment reality caught up with him. The imagery is unsettling, almost surreal. The contrast with his public image is hard to ignore. This is the Diddy who rubbed shoulders with presidents and dated supermodels. And then there's the private version, sounding like a man drowning behind closed doors. As the documentary keeps dropping shock after shock, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about his past, it's about what comes next. With civil lawsuits stacking up, a possible appeal hanging in the air, and a Netflix series locking his name into the headlines, the pressure isn't easing anytime soon. The spotlight is staying right where it is. The real question isn't whether he survives this storm, it's what's left when the dust finally settles. Will he be remembered as a mogul who reshaped the culture, or as a warning about power, ego, and ambition gone unchecked? And with 50 Cent still lurking in the background, who's to say there aren't more tapes, more secrets, and more explosions waiting to drop? So here's where we leave you. A man who built an empire on control, now watching it slip through his fingers. One leaked tape, one lawsuit, one betrayal at a time. What once looked untouchable is now cracking in public frame by frame. The reckoning isn't coming anymore. It's already here. And in a story this twisted, packed with grudges this deep and stakes this high, there's one question that won't go away. What's the one secret still buried? Is there something even 50 Cent hasn't exposed yet? Drop your theories in the comments, because something tells us this saga is nowhere near finished. Stay curious, stay locked in, and remember, hip-hop isn't just music, it's power, ego, and consequences. Crowns don't come free, and every throne has a cost. If you made it this far, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs to see it, and comment your take below. We're reading everything. Keep your eyes open and your popcorn ready. This show isn't over. It's just getting started.